We got an all-star with us, folks. His name is Anthony Scaramucci. He's got a brand new book out. It's called Trump, the Blue-Collar President. And he's with us now. They call him the Mooch. I don't know if he'll let me call him the Mooch, but I'm going to try. Anthony, welcome to the primetime program, Anthony.
Yeah, thank you so much. First of all, that's been my nickname since 1972, right? Because my last name's Scaramucci. Call me Mooch all night.
You're the best. Hey, Anthony, thanks so much. I know you're busy. You're on a whirlwind. You're in high demand on a lot of different levels and spots. So thanks so much for taking time out and spending a few minutes with us tonight.
Not at all. I appreciate being on, actually. So I thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk a little about my book.
Absolutely. Let's start off with the book, and then I have just a couple questions about the Trump administration. Talk about the book, The Blue Collar President. I love the title, Anthony.
Well, listen. I mean, I tried to light up some people with that title because the president was born with like a golden toilet seat, so I knew that people would go nuts that don't like him. But what it was really about is my life experience growing up in a blue-collar family and why my family members love him and what he's doing for those people and how there's frankly been no real advocate in the last 30 or 40 years in the Oval Office for those people. And so for whatever reason, policymakers and public servants have focused on the wealthy who are part of the donor community and maybe the very poor, but the middle class and the lower middle class, those are the people that have been left out of the equation. The president saw that, and he went into those neighborhoods. I did 26 campaign stops with him when I was working for him, and we went into those neighborhoods and met with people that galvanized around him and, frankly, are still tied to him. And so I try to share with people what is it about the president's personality. We did a ton of research on his dad, ton of research on his relationship with his dad, how he used to work with him as a kid. Donald J. Trump is a guy that was taking coins out of laundry facilities at his father's apartment complexes. He was taking coins out of soda machines, and he was also knocking on doors collecting rent. And in some cases, when someone couldn't afford the rent, he'd let him slide. And I put all that sort of stuff in the book.
Well, I tell you what, and the thing is this: people think of Trump as you pointed out, the golden toilet seat, what have you, but he comes across as a regular guy. He seems more comfortable with just regular folks. Is that true?
Yeah, even his eating habits. I mean, this is a guy that's ordering the Whopper Jr. with the onion rings. Now, you and I probably haven't done that since 1978, but this guy's pounding them. You know what I mean? And he's also the kind of guy that, if you hung around with him at the Trump organization, the people that were running the elevators, working the doors, working on his construction crews, they loved him. His security team. You run in a Secret Service, and you ask them about this president, they love this guy. And so there's a personal chemistry that he has that people have gravitated to. I just left an event here on Long Island. I spoke at the Suffolk County Republican event tonight as a precursor to the election next week. And I signed some books and I took questions. And I cannot tell you the number of union presidents that were in the audience that were traditionally part of the Democratic base that have switched over to support the president. And so my book, I really try to describe why and what is it about him that has led those people to him.
Well, I tell you what, I have two questions, and I have a guest host in the studio, Joseph Polillo. He has a question for you, but you just referred to it without probably even knowing what I was going to ask. And that is, you're talking about union executives, higher-ups, and what have you that might not ordinarily be on board with what a Republican is trying to do. Do you sense, Anthony, with the vitriol that's out there in the public arena, do you sense that there is an invisible majority of people out there who don't want to be bothered, don't want to be harassed? They might not have a Trump bumper sticker on their car. They don't want to talk to pollsters and tell them who they're with, but they're still out there, and they're still down with what the president and the conservative Republicans are trying to do. Do you sense that?
Well, not only do I sense it, but I call it the whisper number. Like when I'm at an event, I could be in San Francisco, which is a bluer than blue place, and I'm leaving the event, and 3 or 4 people come over to me and say, "Hey, listen, I just want to let you know I love the president. I just can't say it in this or I can't say it in this area. I can't say it in that area." And what you find about conservatism is that we believe in individual liberty and individual rights, and so I have no problem with people disagreeing with me. But for whatever reason, people on the left have decided that if you disagree with them, well, they're absolutely right, therefore you're absolutely wrong, and then they have to begin the process of demonization and dehumanize you so that you lose your voice, you lose your intellectual capability. And, they try to do that to the president every day, and they obviously have done it to many of us. But for me, I try to speak my mind. I wrote a 304-page book that described what he's really like. This is my observation. This is my 20-year observation. This is my campaign observation. This is my transition time when I was an executive committee member on the transition. And, these are the 11 days that I was in the White House. Here are some of the mistakes I made, and here are some of the things I did well. But, this is how I got fired, and this is why. So I really tried to write a very straight-up book without the typical spin or varnish that you'd get from a Washingtonian, because like you know the difference between Jersey and Long Island. Jim Tan laundry on Long Island, our mothers do our laundry. Right? You know what I'm talking about. Right?
Absolutely.
So for me, I'd like to just be straight up with people and tell them the truth.
And obviously that resonates well. That's why you're in such high demand, Anthony. And one final question for me, and then my guest host has one for you as well. I have to ask this because we've gotten so much reporting, and I'm so sick of it. The media, the president calls it out for what it is, and really he's the only president that has pushed back on this. And of course, no president in history has been subjected to what this president has in terms of the negative coverage. 92% negative coverage by the media out there. They still continue, no matter what he does. It's just really, it's disgusting. Really, at this point. But you were right there, as you pointed out. You were with the president, then you were the communications chief, and we get all these reports that the Trump it's chaos. You got Omarosa comes out, she's got her ideas, but you were there, Anthony. What is it like is it as the media is reporting, which I have my doubts? What's it like working for President Trump?
Well, it definitely is less chaotic. I was there for a short period of time, but it was a stressful period of time because, he was moving out Steve Bannon. He wanted to move out Reince Priebus. I got caught in the crossfire in trying to help him do that, and I also got blown out. But even in that situation, I didn't find it to be as disorderly or all the nonsense that you read about in the media. But what is true, which is obvious from that New York Times piece, and those people wrote that anonymous letter to the New York Times, what is true is that there's a group of people inside the White House, they're probably just Republican operatives or establishment members of the Republican Party that don't like it. There's no question about that, because they're the ones that are causing the leaking. They're the ones that are making all the stir and the nonsense, and basically those are establishment people that are like, well, the president can only be here for 4 to 8 years. I got to last in this town way after that, and this town doesn't like him because he's trying to change the town. He's trying to change their operating and business model for the better, and they don't want to be exposed. He's turning they're a bunch of cockroaches. He's turning the lights on in the kitchen. He's out there with the bug spray,
and they don't like it. Let me ask you this, Anthony. Anthony, do you think he will be successful in changing the atmosphere, the tone, and perhaps even some personnel down there? In other words, and ultimately, do you think Trump will succeed?
Well, the scary thing for them in some ways he's already succeeded because he has confirmed for everybody what they intuitively knew, that these are horrific people, And so,
right.
I don't know if you caught him on 60 Minutes, but he said to Leslie Stahl, he was like, I thought the real estate people here in New York were tough.
Right.
Because they're a bunch of babies compared to these people.
Yeah, I did.
They're ruthless, maniacal people. So in a lot of ways, he's already winning. Is he? It's very hard to fight a system like that. I mean, guys, I don't even think it's a swamp. I think it's a gold-plated hot tub.
Right.
It doesn't have a drain on it. It's a disgusting place. But if he wins re-election, yes, I think he can do material damage to their business model, which will directly benefit the average American. So and that's why they're trying to kill him so hard, and that's why they're so twisted on him with all the 92% negative news and so forth.
The book is Trump, the Blue-Collar President. We're speaking with Anthony Scaramucci, a.k.a. the Mooch. Mooch, just one more question from me, then I'll turn it over to my guest host for a quick one.
Sure.
Is Donald Trump... I think I know the answer to this, but I just want to ask it for the edification of my audience as well, and for the record. Is Donald Trump a fair man?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's fair but tough. I think you have to understand what I really admire about him. I have never seen anybody work that hard. He has the energy of four people, and so he's fair, but he's also tough. So if he's putting in a 20-hour day, he sort of wants you to put in a 20-hour day right alongside of him.
Okay.
A lot of people can't handle that sort of action. You know what I mean? I would say yes, he's fair, but he's tough because he's also doing stuff. He's the kind of person that won't ask you to do anything that he's not willing to do himself. That makes any sense.
Yeah, no, and that's 3 o'clock in the morning greeting the remains from North Korea at service people in a full suit.
That's him.
That's President Donald Trump. Joseph Polillo, do you have a question for the Mooch there, buddy?
Yes. How you doing, Anthony Scaramucci?
I'm doing well. Joseph.
Joseph Polillo. Trump tried to get 3 casinos, and Caesars and those guys tried to stop him. Caesars has, 5? I want to point out that Donald Trump's casinos prospered South Jersey by the Taj Mahal, the Trump Plaza, the Castle.
Sure.
20 or 25,000 people receive paychecks for 20 or so years. Now, South Jersey should change from blue to red, no doubt. We're trying to get our Republican congressman elected, Grossman, and he would help Trump. I wanted to point out that Dan McGahn is from Brigantine, New Jersey.
Yeah, Don McGahn.
Don McGahn.
Yeah, Don McGahn.
We knew his father, grew up with his father was a doctor, the other one was a lawyer, and the woman from Hamilton, the Conway girl.
Yeah, Kellyanne
Conway. He should help South Jersey. The Republican committee, seriously, did not support our second congressional. The Republicans better get their head on, and I wanted to ask you, are any of these Republicans ever going to really stand up and back Donald Trump?
That's a great question, because that really is... Go ahead.
It's a great question, because a lot of these establishment people, like I was saying before, they figure, okay, he's gone 4 to 8 years, but I got to live with these other swamp creatures. They stay for 10, 20, 30 or 40 years, and they don't like them.
Yeah, I want to flush the toilet.
Raise your hand on this radio show if you think the establishment Republicans like Donald Trump. And I can't see you guys because I'm talking to you on the phone.
Yeah.
But I know neither of you are raising your hand.
No.
And I'm not raising my hand.
Right.
So let me tell you something. They don't like him. And so the fact that they don't like him is a reason why these guys that get in there, they get co-opted by the establishment.
Well, he's beaten every one of them, hands down, whatever way you want to look at it.
It really is amazing. I liken it to the Roadrunner cartoon. The media and Donald Trump is like the Roadrunner cartoon, and the media is Wile E. Coyote. Hey,
I love it.
Hey, listen, hey, Anthony Scaramucci, thanks so much for spending time with us here on the Primetime Show, Anthony. The book, folks, is Trump, the Blue-Collar President. You can check it out at Amazon, all the booksellers as well. Mooch, love to have you back at a future time.
Love to be any time, and it was number 8 last week at Publishers Weekly, so we're super happy. I give a big shout out to my friends that went out there and bought it. I think if you buy it and read it, I think you guys will like it. Thank you so much for having me on.
You got it. Anthony Scaramucci, folks. Thanks for getting in, Anthony. Thanks for talking to us. And I think I'm going to grab that book because I like the storyline, folks. I like the blue-collar angle. I'm a blue-collar guy, and these are blue-collar people that made it to the top. And I'm always interested in how that happens.
Work ethic.
And to be able to play ball on that level. When you talk about the big show, it does, Kellyanne Conway, like you said, right from Hamilton.
Yeah.
She's right down there in the mix of the whole thing. And, it's just interesting how they traverse that road to get where they are. I'm always fascinated by that. All right. So stay right there, folks. This is the Primetime Show. Now we're really up against the clock. We got Bill Southwick, Carl from EHT. I got to do my NFL picks. Are you out of here?
Yeah, I must leave. I have to pick up the
Say
wife.
goodbye to everybody. Come on. Sign off like a professional.
Oh, how do I do that? Well,
Joseph Polillo. Good to see you.
This is Joseph Polillo. Hopefully, I'll be back next Thursday night. I didn't want to cause any problems. I apologize for being so nasty.
You're not nasty.
Well, yeah, I'm not. But I just wanted to settle that situation. Let's stay on subject.
Yeah, you're passionate. You're passionate about what you do. Hey, folks, stay right there. Primetime continues. Joseph Polillo, my good friend. And we'll be back here on News Talk 1400 WOND, South Jersey's News Talk leader, live in the Manco Studios, the first and last name in pizza.